Roll.
Hello there, my friends. Heath and I decided we're going to start doing these videos together and share little tidbits of things that we've learned. And then he gets called away to Canada for the week. And we said we were still going to do it. So we are doing this. We are on Zoom together. And he's in Toronto. I'm in Idaho. So we're still doing it. um, so I'm leading out this week. And what I wanted to talk about a little bit today was when we feel cluttered up to here, like tons of chaos, and we're looking for our next step, maybe out of that chaos, or maybe we're just like out of the situation we're in, or we just want to know what our next steps are. Maybe we've got some kind of conflict, or we've got some kind of thing that we're trying to shift or change in our life, but we're up to here with chaos and with worry and stress. And um, when when we're trying to do that, when we're trying to find out what our next steps are, but we feel all cluttered up, what do you do? Because the issue is if you're so much in your head, which you are, when you're cluttered up here, you can't really get many inspired actions because you can't feel a blasted thing. Usually you're a little bit numb, or you're just over in so much, you've got so much overwhelmed that you're just like, don't ask me to do anything. Don't ask me to do, even to other people around you. You might feel like, oh, please don't ask me to do another thing. Or don't don't ask me to even listen because I don't have the bandwidth to do more than what I'm doing, because we're holding on to all of this garbage inside, all this baggage, all this stress and worry, right? And and those are a lot of false beliefs about ourselves. A lot of them, a lot of that stuff is false beliefs about our capacity. It might be doubt whether we're ever going to get out of the situation we're in, or doubt about uh, ourselves, our life, our situation, other people around us, you name it. So what do you do when you're just so full of crap? What do you do? I've been there, right? We have been there. Heath and I have been there many, 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 many times.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the thought that comes to me, and Heath, chime in if you've got some thoughts on this that you'd like to share. The thought that comes to me first is to take a step back, because sometimes when we're in panic mode, we just want to get out of the situation as fast as we can. So we're like, okay, what can we do? The problem is we're in our head and we're getting answers from past experience and our head, not necessarily something that's going to drive us forward to something new. So we might be making a decision that keeps us in the spin that we're already in. And um, so the thing that comes to my mind to help us with that is to do something that helps clear out all that gunk. So that might be as simple as, and they usually are, the tools usually are simple. The first one that comes to mind is journaling it all out, just talking about it, getting it outside of you. Like, because you actually do move some of that energy out when you write things down on paper. You're actually able to process the stuff, make it like put it in order, because you have to decide what you're writing. And so it actually clarifies some things. Sometimes you actually see it on the paper and you're like, oh, yeah, that's a lot more clear than my muddled thinking was making it look like. Like, this is actually, yeah, it sucks. And yeah, it still feels impossible. And I don't know how we're going to resolve this, but at least I can see it on the page. Like, I know what I'm dealing with now. Because when you don't know what you're dealing with, you can't do anything about it. If you don't know what's in there, you can't fight it. You can't resolve it. You can't look at it and see what's truth and what's not truth. Um, and so journaling is a really great thing that came to my mind. Do you have anything that you want to add to that, babe?
Yeah. Yeah. So, sometimes when we're just really, really frustrated with life, right? We're just frustrated with life. And in those situations where we can't even think about writing what we're feeling, or we're just frustrated enough that we don't have the energy to write anything down. I think one of the things that that works really, really well is to, like you said, you want to step outside of the situation. And one of the things I have found is just getting outside for a few minutes, going on a little bit of a walk, right? Just like you said, trying to burn off some of that frustration that's inside of you. And a lot of times, if you're kind of sad, then maybe you take a stroll. If you are just frustrated, then it's a brisk walk, right? You let your pace will naturally a lot of times match how you feel. And if you get outside for like 15, 20 minutes, clear your head and come back in and tackle life, it just makes it a little bit easier. And I think the other thing is I think it's helpful to talk about what not to do, right? And for all of us, if life is uninteresting, um, it's kind of dull, and we just feel highly unmotivated, but we're also just bored to death, or we just want things to change. We want to jump out of our own life and jump into somebody else's. Then we grab our phones, right? A lot of times we grab our phones, go to Instagram, go to Facebook, go to a lot of different things. And I would put that on the list of what not to do. Um, you know, 15, 20 years ago, that was not necessarily, that wasn't an option. And what did we do then? Well, I think that we dealt with things possibly a little bit better back then. And so, naturally the habit is to pick up our phone and to start scrolling. And I think we need to interrupt that. We need to recognize that and think, oh man, you know what? Let's not allow ourselves to do that. We as a people, a lot of times we complain, and we point fingers at the rising generation and how they are just so glued to their technology. Oh, not so fast. We all are. We all are, and we all need to find other means for um, what would you call it? Um,
Entertainment.
yeah, or not just even entertainment, just other means of coping, right? Of coping, because by scrolling and reading something, unless if you're reading something uplifting, then maybe yeah, that can help you. If you're watching something that's funny, that will help you. Um, if you're just scrolling because and not really just reading through stuff and it's just not doing anything for you, that is not going to be it's not going to be beneficial, right?
Yeah. And then you have
So I would
regret.
put that on a list of what not to do. Yeah. Yep. And then you end up going to bed that night and you don't feel any better.
Right.
You may not recognize that you may not recognize that you feel heavier, or maybe you don't recognize any kind of a change. And that in itself is going to be really frustrating as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Because then you're like, well, I
Did
spent,
that make sense?
yes, because then you spent all that time on social media. You don't feel any better. You were hoping to.
Right. Yeah. And I think most people, there's something inside of them that's going to say, well, that's just great. I just burned 30, 45 minutes doing something that was a huge waste of time.
Right. I have done that so
Yeah.
many times. So many times. So I love that, what to avoid. So thank you, babe.
Yeah.
So I hope that this gave you something to chew on today. Um, something that something you can do, something you can that's or something you can avoid that will help you to let go of some of that clutter inside so that you can have more of those next steps, that inspired direction on what to do next, because that feels really good. When you get that inspired direction, that feels you feel add that enthusiasm, that excitement to move forward. So we're all about that. All right. Thanks for joining us. Take care, you guys. See ya.